make me more content to continue living in what is my home. I don't want to be forced to leave a neighborhood that I love and to leave my friends and neighbors behind.
Susan, we have a lot of people in line, so
okay, I'm sorry.
Just
Thank you very much.
One quick question. How long have you lived there?
Several years.
Is it getting louder and more toxic now, or was it the same when you moved in?
It's worse and worse all the time.
Okay.
I live in the home that my grandparents had moved into in 1963.
Thank you, Susan. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
comments. Thank you.
My name is Linda Gross. I have lived in my home since 1976. It's south of National, directly south of here. I also own another home that I bought in 1979. It's a few blocks north of National, just a few blocks from here on going west. When I first bought my home, there was very little noise from the Santa Monica Airport. Since that time, it has increased, as you say, whatever the numbers are, and I agree with everything that the speaker ahead of me said. I've replaced my lawn furniture probably 4 times because the emissions from the planes going overhead have stained it. The lemons on my fruit tree, I didn't know what the black soot was all about. I would bring them in and I'd scrub them with soap and water to get lemons off my tree, and I didn't know what it was until recently when I figured out it was the emissions from the planes going overhead. The noise is a major deterrent to our peace of mind, our enjoyment of our home, our enjoyment of our backyard. I have a pool. I can't have company in very much anymore because the backyard, and I have a nice piece of property. It's an extra large piece of property. I'm right over the flight path, south of National, or wherever the winds blow, the pilots can take their choice of, in a certain variety of airspace, of which route they take. When we are out in the backyard and we're swimming, we have to stop until the planes go overhead. My house north of National, a few blocks west of here, is a rental home. Right now, it is on the market for rent, and I have had several people love the home, wanting to rent it, and all of a sudden a plane goes overhead, and they say, sorry, I don't want to rent your house with the planes going overhead. So I am sitting with a vacant house now for the last couple of months, and it's costing me money. So financially, the planes are costing me. In the last number of years, in the last 5 years, I have had pneumonia 4 times. I've not had pneumonia before. I haven't been sick before in any major way other than minor things. I've had 4 bouts of pneumonia. The air pollution around my home is what my doctors feel are the major cause of it. So my health, my financial well-being, my emotional well-being, the well-being of my family is being greatly affected, and I think it's not a question of just me. It's a question of many, many people, some of whom have shown up tonight, some of whom don't feel that anybody's going to do anything about it, so they kind of have given up. I have tried calling the Santa Monica Airport through the years to no avail, getting no help from them. And so I just sort of give up because what else is there for me to do?
Linda, appreciate everything you said. You live in the home that you've been living in since 1976.
That's correct.
That's 29 years.
Yes.
When did it pick up in such a dramatic way where the lemons get sooted on, your health has been bothering you? For how long has this intensity been?
Probably the last 6 or 7 years.
Last 6 or 7 years. Before that, you found yourself able to live.
Well, it's been, you know, when things happen sort of gradually,
Sure, yeah.
you don't notice it much, and all of a sudden you kind of wake up, my gosh, what happened?
Right.
So I would say that my health started to go down with the pneumonia 4 times in the last 5 years.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate your
Thank
testimony.
My name is Lise Kral, and I live west of the Santa Monica Airport in Venice. And I've lived there for about the last 15 years in the same house. And when I purchased my house, occasionally I saw a jet going on California Avenue, going from east to west. And I was amazed because it looked like it was just going right over the roofs. And it just started increasing and coming closer, and now going on Millwood, which is my street. And I called the airport like maybe 8, 9 years ago and started questioning this. They said they're supposed to go over Rose, which I felt very badly about it. They had to go over Rose, but one way was one way, not my street. And more and more are coming south and going over California and Millwood, and very low because they've just taken off. And this is one big problem because you're sitting there and all of a sudden you see this jet at eye level, and it's very scary. And then the small planes make exactly over my house the turn going going south. They make a left turn from the airport right over my house, and then they do stalls over my house. And we cannot sit in the backyard when the small planes go over because the noise is just impossible. You can't even think, let alone talk. And stalls right over my house.
Lisa,
So-
you said 15 years you've been
Yes.
living there. Has it been getting worse or has it been the same?
Much worse, because I saw an occasional jet when I first moved in. And now I see so many jets, like daily I see them going, over my street. And the small planes are a big problem. They're very, very noisy.
Thank
because
you very
they're very
much.
slow, very
Appreciate
low.
your testimony. Thank you. Sir, you're up.
Yeah, and you said it, Santa
I
Monica
understand.
gets all the revenues and, Venice gets all the noise.
Right.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Sir.
you all for coming.
If you want to add to what the previous person said, do that if you can, so we can get everybody in.
My name is Lewin Wertheimer. I've lived in Venice for the last 25 years, and I want to thank you all for coming here. I've been going to Santa Monica Airport Commission and neighborhood meetings for the last 4 or 5 years, seeing nothing happen. So seeing you here is a breath of fresh air, and I hope this isn't the first of a series of meetings where nothing happens, but I know there are a lot of people that care about what's going on. Since I've been in Venice, the airport traffic has increased exponentially. It wasn't a concern. People didn't talk about it when I was first living there. Now, we're out in the backyard during the weekends, and there could be planes taking off, especially in the weekend mornings, maybe once every minute. We could have 10 planes in 10 minutes flying over our home, and it's crazy making, and it's the noise pollution, the safety issues are, as everyone's already talked about. What I'd like to know from you all, and I don't know who the right person is, do you all agree that this is a major safety concern?
What we'll do is when everybody finishes, we'll have a discussion and
Oh, I'm
feedback
sorry. I
from
thought
them
you
on
wanted-
that.
you
No,
want-
unless it's something specific, obviously they'll
Okay.
comment.
The other thing that I wanted to say is regarding the noise measurement, the 95 decibel level, which Santa Monica has agreed upon to allow, is way, way over what should be acceptable. That is not, and there are so many jets that violate that, and the noise levels, as you know, are not measured properly. There are jets that step on the gas, or whatever the word is, after they've taken off, after they've passed the last noise monitor. And I've stood right under the runway of Santa Monica Airport at the takeoff, and the noise is less sometimes than over our house right near the beach.
Thank you very much, Lou, for that. Appreciate your comments. Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Hi, my name is Gwen Camonson. I live 1 block east of Bundy and 1 block north of National. We basically live 10 houses from the end of the runway where the butts of the airplane hang over the edge of Bundy, and all the jet fuel spews down our street. And the street kind of rises up to meet Bundy, so we're kind of at a low point, and sort of settles right in front of our house. We live on a corner house, and my husband has lived in that house for 30 years. I have lived in that house for 19 years. My husband has lived within a mile of the airport for 56 years. And there has been a significant change in the last 5 years, as many of the other people have said, in the jet fuel. And we, in June, had to put in air conditioning in the house because we can no longer keep our windows open. And we always have been able to leave our house open and air it out and everything, and we have to keep the windows closed now. We add